Hello, welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast, the extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. We are here today to discuss a movie that, well, we didn't really want to discuss. So, introducing first, it's the man who has lost faith in remakes yet again. It's Mac Taylor. Yes. We've had some okay remakes in the history of remakes. This one is just it's a case to stop remakes, even though they weren't as relevant as they once were. And with me today, as always, it's the man who could probably write a better film than this one turned out to be. It's Cole Selby, joined also by the beautiful face of Bobby Rhodes in the background.
Yes, my true treasure right here.
If we got nothing else out of this podcast as a whole, we got Bobby Rhodes.
Yeah, I got Bobby Rhodes.
We're better for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right above him is my beautiful baby Uncle Ira, but you can't see him right now.
Because but Bobby Rhodes needs to be front and center every time.
Yeah, he needs to be in everything.
Exactly. So Castle Freak 2020. This came out December 4th of last year. I think it was like straight to Shudder. I don't think it had like a theatrical run or anything. I actually wasn't even aware of its existence until I came Castle Freak, the original, was a movie I was aware of because, I'm always into the weird culty movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had watched on Shudder, and when I searched it, it was this other one that came up, and I was like, I'll have to keep that in the back of my mind for later. I wish it never showed.
Yeah.
So Cole, what were your expectations going in, and what happened to it?
Well, so my expectations were that they were going to they weren't met, first off. let's get that on the ground. I did get more gore, which I liked. I did like that a lot, actually. I got really good gore in it, good effects. That was the really good parts. Even the really fucking weird effects were still really good.
Yeah, well, this was directed by a makeup artist, and I think that shows. The guy, I think it's a guy, really good at makeup.
Yeah, and and they know the importance of practical effects too.
Yes, yeah, there was some really solid stuff in here.
A lot of good stuff. Story wise, it sucked.
Yes,
it was bad. It was bad. It was slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an hour and 45, but it felt like significantly longer than I think Castle Freak was a smooth 90 minutes, and this was not.
But the story was bad. I did kind of like how it was the main couple, their roles were kind of like a fusion of the parents' roles and the child of the last movie. I liked that. I think that was a good streamline, and that really helped with the characterization they're going for with the characters. I didn't really care for much of them, though.
In the original, it was kind of hard to tell who the movie was trying to focus on.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's very clear. I did like that they put, Rebecca front and center. I didn't really like what they did with her, but
yeah.
I liked the setup.
Also like how they allow her to just to be able to live and do shit with her blindness instead of her being helpless.
No one is looming over her.
Yeah, it's yes, you're allowed to just go and fucking do the dishes, man. It's okay.
So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this very strange film that we're gonna be talking about here. So we start out, we see a woman repenting to Jesus, beating the shit out of the freak. So that stayed pretty prevalent.
Yep.
Then getting naked and whipping herself for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Yes.
Then a strange figure murders her and frees the freak.
Ooh.
Who then beats the shit out of her dead body. Yeah, there's a lot of nudity in this movie. Like
There
a
is.
lot. Like fucking the original Castle Freak had one nipple.
Yeah.
This movie was like, let's just amp this shit up. Like they went full horror with it, which, you know what? It's fine. Like they have the tools to make a good horror film. They have all the necessities.
Yeah.
But they just decide to be like, yeah, let's not use them.
Yeah.
So then we cut to a party at an abandoned building. This looks very Lost Boys, where like everything is just illuminated by fire. Yeah. And people are doing cocaine off broken glass. And I'm like, whoa, hey guys, that's like a little dangerous.
Yeah, you could cut yourself. Do cocaine safely, people.
Like, don't inhale glass shards, guys.
Yes.
This is not. Listen, bring a mirror. You know, people had little pocket mirrors in the 80s for a reason.
Yeah, they were classy.
Yeah, come on now. Like, you know, you got to be able to live to do coke again. So let's not throw it all away.
Don't do cocaine.
And we meet Rebecca, her boyfriend John, a guy named the Professor.
Yeah, that's just what they call him. And like, that's just his name too, I guess. Now we don't do we ever get his actual name?
We never. No? They only call him the Professor. He's credited as the Professor.
It's like, well, who should we name this guy? It's like, I'm not fucking names.
And then we also have Shelly, who flirts with John a lot, and then Larry and Chuck, who are only there to drink. Like, they really, most of these characters are very pointless.
I think they're there just to fill out like
body count,
an ethnicity checklist.
Oh.
As like,
I mean, fair.
It's bad, but
it's not great.
That's probably why, actually. It's pretty bad.
And the Professor, he's like that one friend that we all have at a party that like wants to talk about like dimensions and universes and frequencies. And like I work with someone who does that to me all the time.
I've straight done that at parties, actually.
Yeah, I remember.
I caught a girl one time and got her into a fucking like a little room with a whiteboard, and I was like, oh, there's a whiteboard, it's time, and I start fucking doing shit. I mean, like it was a weird time.
So yeah, even Cole has been that guy, but the Professor is always that guy. And they're talking about lizard people and just all sorts of weird fucking shit.
Wow.
I mean, but granted, they're on cocaine and drunk. Things happen.
Yeah.
Well, the Professor, I don't know. We never really actually see him do anything.
I feel like he's just super cool about the whole drug usage thing, but he's just not into it. But he'll like drink if he wants to. That's about it. And then that's what I got off him.
John completely chugs Larry's Crown Royal like an asshole. Like
that's just expensive for one, dude.
It's like $30 a bottle. Don't fucking chug that shit. Like fucking the other guy had a bottle of Absolute vodka. Chug that. That's cheap. We can get more of that.
Ugh, fuck.
Don't chug the good stuff that he had in a personal like flask.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, you know what I should do? I should go drive a car.
As you do.
Like,
cool, if you're him, apparently.
One, Rebecca should have never gotten in the car with this guy, especially because I don't think she drank. She did coke, but you can drive on coke. You can't drive. You shouldn't drive on anything.
Yeah.
But if you're going to drive on either cocaine or alcohol, cocaine is probably your best bet.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
So she gets the car with them, and of course they crash. And I don't really know how, but is blinded. Like she has scars around her eyes, but it doesn't not really implicitly explain.
Like I liked the scars from the first movie, honestly, because they were actually around the eyes and they actually made sense. This is what blinded her. While this movie, it looks like she just had like some brain trauma that caused her to go blind.
Yeah,
that's about it.
It's never really explained.
Yeah, and also I didn't really like the scar look on her, honestly. They just kind of looked like a marker stain to me a little bit. Yeah, it sounds bad, but
at first I thought she had just like like she had like a bump or something. I didn't know that it was supposed to be a skull until I saw the other one like around here, and I was like, oh, okay. But again, like it's fun. Like I like this version of it better than the dad and everything because it makes her the main character.
Yeah. Also like how they just immediately give us this background.
Yeah, like we wasted no time.
No.
So she's blind. And then we cut to them going to the castle with this driver who I think is trying to do a Romanian accent. I don't think he's actually from it. It sounds kind of contrived.
Yeah. Wasn't all this filmed in where was all this filmed actually?
I couldn't find the
I
know the original was filmed in Rome, but I don't know if this one was. The exteriors might have been, but the interiors may have been sets. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it's not like Charles Band. Not everyone owns a castle.
Yeah,
they inherited from their actual family.
Yeah, not everyone just has a castle. Fucking lucky bastard.
But Rebecca is inheriting a castle from her estranged mother, who she was adopted, so she never met her blood mother, but she gets a castle and asked no questions. And then we meet Marku, who is going to show them around, and immediately I was like, bad guy. Like as soon as he walked up, I was like, that guy's the bad guy.
Yeah. He looks like a bad guy.
And John immediately is like, all right, let's sell all this shit. Like, we're gonna make so much money. And I'm like, you didn't inherit a castle. She inherited a castle. And also, you blinded her. Why is she still even with you?
Yeah, like this movie really it doesn't let up on just making him an asshole just over and over. Like they just
at
like, hey, this guy, he's an asshole. I just want to let you guys know that. Hey, like the guy that just walked in, he's an asshole, a big asshole.
This guy, fuck this guy right here, him.
Like,
it really does. Like every scene is just to make you hate it. There are times though that I kind of understand what he's doing. This time, he's a complete dick at this point in the movie.
Yeah.
But there are other points where I'm like, fair. But yeah, he is a total irredeemable douche. And John's like, hey, I'm just going to invite the people that, last time we hung out with them, you got blinded. Let's hang out with them so we can move all this shit. And Becca's like, well, I don't really want to go back to the whole party life. I am blind now. And he's like, now they're already on their way. It would be rude I'm like, don't gaslight her. This is her castle. She just inherited.
They're already on her way. It's like, well, tell them to turn the fuck around then.
Right. Like,
God.
I don't want to hang out with these people that I literally haven't seen since I could see. Don't fuck with me, John.
God. No one likes you, John.
No, not one person. And then she has these dreams, these visions throughout the whole movie. Yeah. It's really annoying. But her first one is just of a whip.
A whip.
And then they go off to explore the next morning because, there was an exploring scene in the original Castle Freak that involved the whip, so you need it here. And he finds the whip, but he doesn't tell her because he doesn't want to justify her dreams.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you have a bad feeling about this, and this just might happen to prove those bad feelings. Or fucking
get that out of here.
Get that shit out of here. Fucking throw it. It was selling it.
Yeah, this is for sale too. Who wants this lightly used whip?
Jesus.
And meanwhile, like they find some dresses of her mother's, and the freak is literally hiding right behind. I'm like, how do you not see someone? I know she's got the sheet on, but like, still, it's a white sheet. It's a person right behind this fucking thing. Like, how do you not? Like, you can sense when there's someone else in the room with you. Like, you can get this weird feeling. Like, John, again, he just throws it all out. He's like, I'll sell that person too. Everything in this castle. I'll sell it all.
Like there's times where it's okay to make, a character extremely oblivious just for sake of plot sometimes, but you can't literally put something in front of their face and just say no. Just say no. No, actually, no. That wasn't there. You're lying.
Yeah, it's really just I was like, how the fuck did they not see? She's right there.
Yeah.
And then Becca goes off to talk with Marco, and it just gets weird. Like, he's like, yeah, you shouldn't sell the castle. And she's like, well, I got these questions about my family. And he's like, well, you should stay around till they're answered. And I'm like, again, bad guy, bad intentions. Don't stay around.
No.
Then she has a dream about her mom fucking a whip. Like, literally, yeah, we saw the whole thing. Not great.
Yeah.
We've seen weird sexual situations with weed cookies and gingerbread men, and now this. Like, it keeps getting worse.
Like, I know that the vision things, like,
connects her to her mother, like, her sisters around.
Yeah, and that.
But did we need that?
Yeah, I like. How has this progressed anything? How has this connected to anything?
It didn't. It doesn't. They just like, you know what? We really want to film this scene with her just fucking the whip. I think that would really add to the ambiance of it all. And I'm like, no, it does not. It makes me very uncomfortable having to watch this.
I no. No.
And then she's like, someone's in here. And then John's like, no, there's not. Then they just have sex.
Yay.
Immediately throws away all the inhibitions. And the freak is just watching whilst they bone.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut to John in the wine cellar, and there's actually a reference to the wine's called Giorgio something. So like they reference the original Castle Freak, which is a movie. So I was like, hey, look at you guys go.
So remember this movie that's better?
Yeah. You guys remember this? Then Becca wanders around the castle, cuts herself on a statue of Cthulhu, and then the freak saves her from it falling on her by smashing it, and then somehow gets away before John gets there.
Which like,
it was edited like he just walked the corner and already gone. I was like,
there's a couple of editing moves in this movie that just make me feel like, how did they get there? What were they doing?
Maybe they were trying to imply she's supernatural, but I'm like, whatever. It just makes sense.
Like, and then this is the point of the movie where I'm like, okay,
shit's getting weird.
No, I sit back, I'm like, oh, this is what the movie's about. Because as soon that you're not going to put a Cthulhu statue in there for no fucking reason. People don't do that. Like, I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's what this movie's about. And then I just immediately just kind of knew a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was going to get weird. It's not going to connect. It might connect, but not in a good way.
It didn't do what it should have done.
Like, it was, and then I was just like, oh God, they're doing this.
So then she's like, well, I want to leave, which is a great call.
Yes.
And he's like, but when my friends get here, if we're not here, that would be really awkward. And I'm like, John, again, you could sell this thing. You don't have to stay there while it gets sold. You could literally just put it up for sale, stay in a hotel, sign some papers, and roll the fuck on. You don't need to stay here. You can go to a fucking bar with your friends in Rome or wherever this is supposed to be and have a decent time and not get murdered by a freak in a castle.
Yeah. Like, they came, like, whatever, you're not gonna fucking party in a castle. Now you're just gonna go party out where there's more, like, there's definitely parties going on outside the castle.
You
go to one of those.
Lessened your chance of getting murdered.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Wow.
It's so frustrating. And then instead he's like, I'm gonna call for some drugs. But when he actually has like one of those old rotary phones, but he doesn't put the fucking mouthpiece up to his mouth. He's talking into it like this. I'm like, John, he can't fucking hear anything you're saying. No. You're not talking into the phone. Like, this guy looks older than me, but he doesn't know how to use a fucking phone. You dialed it, talk into it. I was so frustrated. I was like, was this a one take thing? The director's like, it's fine.
It's just him talking on the phone. How can he fuck that up?
These fucking kids aren't gonna know how to, put talking to a fucking phone.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's like that's something you could totally fix. I was so sad. And then the doctor arrives with a suitcase full of drugs.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I just want some downers. And I'm like, what? You're getting ready to be in a party and you want to get down?
Yeah.
It was an odd choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor's like, hey, I'm going to shoot heroin in your castle. And he's like, yeah, that's not a good idea. And then he pulls a gun and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do heroin in your castle. And it's like, yeah, don't piss off the one drug dealer in the town, okay? The guy clearly has no morals. Let him do heroin in your castle.
I liked this guy. I liked him.
Could have used more.
He was funny. Yes. We didn't get nearly enough of the doctor.
So the doctor shoots up heroin, which was, again, a little uncomfortable. And then the freak shows up and just stabs him with a bunch of hypodermic needles.
Yep.
I think he started to overdose because I think one of them hit his heart.
Yeah.
Because he starts vomiting into his beard, which was very uncomfortable to watch. And then we cut, and he's got needles in his eyes, needles in his chest. Decent gore.
Yes.
And so, again, the doctor very quickly take it away from us. The one character who didn't really piss me off.
Yep.
So the friends arrive, and Shelly's already flirting with John, already trying to move in, and also having a weird interaction with Becca. I'm like, again, this is her castle. Yeah. Fuck you, Shelly. You don't have to be here.
Yeah, she's the one who inherited the castle, not you.
Right. She keeps talking to John like, oh, Lord John. I'm like, but it's not his fucking castle.
It's not.
And then Shelly's like, you know what? I'm going to go get naked and drink some wine randomly.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
It's like, I'm just going to talk to myself about, and it's just like, oh, I like John. I think that's what was going on. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think it was just an excuse to have more nudity.
Yeah.
And then she's being watched not by the freak, but Marku, who goes to whip the freak and then gets beaten by the freak.
Yeah. He just didn't know that the freak was just out.
Even though he's the one that let her out. Again, this was random as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, they have the professor look at this book, which turns out to be the Necronomicon.
Ooh. Oh, who saw that one coming?
That's when I was like,
not a lot of people.
Really weird.
Not a lot of people saw that coming. I don't think that's a really good thing.
Because this film had such an easy setup. You have a freak in a castle. The friends come over. They have a party. The friends die. Super simple. Kill the freak at the end. That's, you have that. Yeah. But
or not kill the freak at the end. Maybe the freak wins, but that's
simple. It's so simple. But they were like, you know what? Let's throw a whole bunch of random cult shit in here.
Yeah.
And this is the start of it. This is where the movie turns.
Yeah, they take a suit, you can't have something like this and it not be super complicated, and
right.
It doesn't work for this,
especially when you're remaking a movie that's established like Castle Freak, and you're gonna listen. I am all for doing your own thing if you're gonna make a remake, because that's the reason you remake something, is to try to do something different. But this is a little too far from the source material, and I know that Castle Freak was very, very loosely based off a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, who was super into Cthulhu, but you didn't need to bring that element in. Again, you need to make a Castle Freak movie. You need a castle, you need a freak. That's it. That's literally all you fucking need.
And if they wanted to go the whole Eldritch H.P. Lovecraft style of it all, they should have made that apparent towards the beginning of the movie. Don't throw it in halfway through.
Don't make half a Castle Freak movie and then toss all your shit in.
Yeah.
It just it doesn't work for me, and I think for most people.
I don't need to know how the Castle Freak came about. I don't need to know why.
Exactly.
Like, that's not why I'm here.
And then John gets annoyed at all this fucking Cthulhu talk, just like I do.
Yep, as you do.
And he was like, we're going to sell this book. And the professor's like, literally, it was like the worst acting I've seen, where he was like, this is a precious discovery. You cannot sell this book. And I'm like, again, did we not do another take? Like, the guy's not a bad actor, but that was a bad delivery.
There's a lot. I actually didn't like too much of the delivery from the professor in this movie.
Very dry.
He felt flat most of the time.
Where his character can be kind of eccentric and fun, didn't really go for that. So John tries to smooth it over, but he wants to party. He wants to party so bad. He found all this wine. He's ready to go. So Becca and the professor go explore. John's pretty pissed again. And we get more cult talk. And they go to the town to try to get some answers. Yeah. They're told about the bad family juju, about this incestual cult of Cthulhu that cursed the town and Becca's bloodline.
Well, it's technically cult of Yog-Sothoth, but you know what the fuck? Whatever.
Who cares? And then John learns that the castle was never on the market. And Marku doesn't work for the real estate company. And he's in a really bad movie he might regret later in his career.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
The worst. So the freak is still toying with Marku for reasons. Again, we don't really know why the freak hates Marku so much. Meanwhile, Shelly and the boys could do some cocaine that they smuggled in Chuck's asshole.
Yep. He's really proud of that too.
Yeah, we really didn't need to mention that. They could have just had coke. They could have bought it there. We didn't really need to talk about how they got it into the country. And John's like, fuck it. You know, he lashes out at Becca and the professor, keep talking about the Necronomicon. He's like, fuck that shit over there. Do some cocaine over here. I'm like, fair.
Yep. He does get, I do find he gets quite upset, like,
very
like snappy. Like, he's like, I'm fucking pissed off. Like, why, dude? I don't understand why you're so mad.
Well, it's been 20 minutes. Fuck you. I'm done. Give me the cocaine. So Becca and the professor go again to explore because they're tired of getting yelled at.
Yep.
And Shelly moves in fucking fast. Like she got in there quick.
Oh yeah.
And the professor goes to where the dresses were, and he's like, hey, there's a passage back here. I'm like, oh yeah, all someone had to do was fucking just look.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very simple. And then he just wanders off down it without Becca, who's fucking like, hey, where'd you go? Like, it's kind of a dick move to leave a blind person there.
Yeah, that was a little funny quip though. There's like she was like, yeah, it was in that wardrobe. It's like, we'll wear this red dresses, and then she's like, yes, the red one. Like it's like I can see the fucking color.
Thank you. Although she did earlier say it felt red. So like, you know, they say your other sentences get heightened, but that's still
feels red. Okay.
So then the other four, they get super drunk and just weird. Like there's one point where like Larry's just pouring wine into Chuck's mouth. It got really like oddly sexual.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be secretly a thing. Honestly,
I did too.
They were super close.
I was ready for it, and it never happened. Yeah. So John and Shelly go to bone because everyone wants to bone John in this movie.
Apparently.
And Shelly ties him up to this random shackles they found on the bed, which again, not great. Stop doing shit in this castle like this.
Yeah.
And then she blindfolds him kind of half-assedly. Yeah. And then as she starts to have sex with him, the freak like breaks her neck off. Like, very good gore. And then we get the reveal that the freak is a chick because we just see a random pussy.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And then the freak proceeds to have sex with John, which we see.
We didn't need to. Did not need to see that.
You could have just implied.
Yeah.
I would rather see Giorgio eat that one bitch from the last movie 100 times before I see this again.
Yeah.
So it was just very uncomfortable. We didn't need all that.
I didn't want it. No one wanted it.
And how did he not know that wasn't Shelley with this extremely bony, like tuffle skinned chick?
Even sounds different, dog.
Yeah. Like, all over bad stuff. Oh, then Chuck and Larry find John tied up and bloodied and Shelley dead. And they're like, let's go get revenge. They don't even know what they're looking for, but they go to look for something.
Yeah.
And they find Marku, and he's like, yes, we must kill the freak.
Ooh.
But we know he's going to double cross them because he's the bad guy.
Yep.
And then the town just gets like super weird and culty. Like everyone's like, oh, it's time to get our robes on and fucking head to the square.
Yeah, so I guess like a bunch of people in the town were a part of the cult. So
yeah, not great, not explained. No. So then Becca tries to bond with the freak, who just scurries off because they hear like their mother yelling.
Yeah.
And then the freak kills Larry and Chuck with the whip.
Yep.
And eats like Larry's intestines.
They had like such a big like pump up moment too. They're like, we're going in there. Like, yeah, we run in there, then we get this like spin around camera for a little bit, and then it's just like whop, they're both dead in like one.
Oh, yeah, because they're yelling about the element of surprise, but you've spent like 5 minutes yelling, so they know, she knows where you are, like giving up your element of surprise.
Yeah, they got like fucking destroyed, like had no chance, even though they had a gun. Like
which he shoots post-mortem.
Yeah, like. And that was a kind of a bad gun effect.
Yeah, it was like poo.
Like poo, and the gun didn't even move. It was just, wow.
Yeah,
I can see why they never used it in the movie.
Yeah, because I don't think they knew how to edit it.
Yeah.
And then the professor finds the freak, who he's like, show me everything. And this fucking made me go, what the fuck, out loud. Where a tentacle comes out of the freak and wraps around his neck. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
yeah.
Like, this movie already had gotten weird, but this happened, and I was still not prepared for that. Because how can you be prepared for that?
Like, Jesus.
It's pretty terrible.
Like, it's like, I bet they'll never expect this. It's like, yeah.
There's a reason, because it's shit. We don't expect pure dog shit at every turn. This isn't Evil Bong 8. We weren't ready for how bad it was going to be.
I was not ready.
So, then we get this odd tentacle rape vision.
Yeah.
So again, why are we watching this? And then we reveal that Marku was the one who killed her mother and unleashed her sister, because he wants to open the gates to Cthulhu or whoever. I don't care. And then the freak just kills him anyway after he tries to kill John, because why not? The freak really seems to hate Marku.
Yep.
So yeah, good thing he joined that cult. It sure saved him.
Mm-hmm.
John then attacks the freak, and then Becca kills him, trying to stop him from attacking the freak, but clearly, like, he was in the right here.
Like, yeah, I have a couple, like, so he's trying to kill the freak. She's like, no, it's my sister. It's like, yeah, regardless, he killed my friends. She killed people. Sorry. And then he turns around and like starts like attacking her.
Yeah, he like whips her.
That's why. Like,
and then she hits him in the head with that barbed bat thing.
Like, it's like, even when he's doing something that makes sense, the movie turns him into an asshole.
And then the freak crushes his head, which is a decent gore.
That was a good one.
And then the professor shows up and casts a spell out of fucking nowhere. Like, he's involved in this now.
He knows everything. That tentacle, man, it just gave him all the knowledge to fucking.
And then the sisters come together, and a demon comes out of Becca's vagina.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. We get the second viewing of the freak's tentacle thing.
Yep.
We get that big fucking spooky cloud monster thing in the sky, and then we get the
Spooky's a bit of a stretch.
Yes, yeah, but then we get the little eyeball coming out of the vagina. Good job on that.
That happened.
Yeah. And then it just stops.
Ends. Just ends.
Which
like it literally, I was like, okay, so are they dead? And then it was like directed by whoever. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like when it comes to like Eldritch stuff, like whenever it's a part of of any story, it has to win because there's no such thing as beating the Eldritch beings, you know, because they're supposed to be so powerful. So like, I guess that makes it, but it's like, I'm just like, I just don't like this at all. I didn't like it.
This was Castle Freak, not Rise of Cthulhu.
It wasn't. It was Castle Freak, and it needed to stay the simple Castle Freak with a monster that kills people. Like I was just wanting it to be a normal fucking Castle Freak movie with a little bit more of a body count and some cool gore.
And we kind of got that. Like there were moments where they started to do it, and then they would just be like, "Well, actually," and it's like, "No, go back, get back here."
Yeah. Like, are you ready to have like just all the convoluted plot points like all in one movie?
Because it was just so, and it was fine if they made a female Castle Freak. That was a decent twist, although we didn't need to see the vagina of it. No, but like you had the whole John and Becca relationship that's strained. Good. You had the friends coming over to murder. Awesome. Yeah. You had the decent effects on the freak. Like you had good stuff there. And instead of just letting that play out, it would have been so cheap and easy. Yeah. You were like, let's do this whole cult thing.
Yeah. And then when they do that, like they're kind of forced to use, like digital effects. Yeah. And no, they don't. They stand out so bad. Like compared for everything else that we've seen in the movie. That's all extremely good. Like the visuals are really good. And then they give this.
This film holds a 4.2 out of 10 on IMDb, a 4 on Metacritic, and a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. So Cole, let's rate this and put it to bed because I'm done with it. It's shit.
Yeah.
So Cole, give me your rating and why.
I'm gonna give it like a fucking 3.5. I'm gonna give it 3.5 for several reasons. One, John's an asshole.
Yep.
He's an asshole, and they force him to be one. They don't give him any sort of like ability to redeem himself like they did in the last movie a little bit, He's just full asshole all the time. If you're gonna have an Eldritch movie with, the Call of Cthulhu, Yachts, whatever fucking people, make it about that and make us know that it's about that. Don't try to make
don't
two
sneak
movies.
It in.
Yeah, don't make two movies in one movie. Stop.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10, just because it's a Castle Freak movie. And again, like I said, remakes, you can take some liberties. This is too many liberties. This only uses the name Castle Freak and some of the tie-ins to try to sell the movie. They wanted to make a Cthulhu movie or that kind of culty movie, which again, if you're upfront and honest about it, is okay. It's weird, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's a difficult movie to make, but you can still try to make that, but don't market it as something else.
Don't lie to us. Don't make us have to watch it because we watched Castle Freak and then be like, well, what the fuck? Why did I even watch that?
Yeah.
So that is our review on Castle Freak 2020. Probably very brief because I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't like it.
Really wasn't much to talk about, honestly.
Yeah, it was just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So join us next week when we're going to discuss VFW, which is going to be it's a different kind of movie. It's kind of like a revenge-y kind of movie. So we're going to get into a little bit of a different aspect. So I'm actually excited for the change of pace.
Nice.
And I've heard good things about VFW, and it doesn't have a cult in it. So that's also nice. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and stay nerdy.